has been a pretty good day. I went grocery shopping, I watched the 100 while snacking all day, but I wanted to share a thought I've been having and to talk about something specific I've been thinking about. So I get a lot of comments on my social media, and especially after I started talking about religion so often, I get more and more comments and criticism on my opinions. But one of the biggest ones that I've really been contemplating recently is how hateful I am. Oh, all of your content is so hateful. You do it in such a hateful manner. And so I've been racking my brain being like, is this hateful? Like, am I being hateful? I know my intentions, but how are my actions reflecting? How is it coming off? I just got my laptop. After I'd gotten home from grocery shopping, I decided to start Googling many different things because, again, I feel like sometimes we go off of personal definitions rather than objective definitions, which I am very guilty of a lot of the time. And so I searched up hateful, right? And the definition for hateful is arousing, deserving of, or filled with hatred. And then it says people also ask, what does it mean if a person is hateful? Definition of hateful as in malicious, having or showing desire to cause someone pain or suffering for their sheer enjoyment of it. I don't think I'm hateful. Like, I don't get that sense from the videos I make and the things I say. I definitely share criticism, no doubt. I feel like criticism is so different than being hateful, and I feel like a lot of people aren't used to seeing so much criticism for something that they care so dearly about. I think I'm hitting a nerve for a lot of people, and do not get me wrong, I need to get better about regulating my emotions and not getting so angry, so frustrated, but I am not hateful. When it comes to perspectives, I feel like I'm always grounded in the idea that there are three things that exist in this world: the positive, the negative, and the neutrality. I always talk about the negative side, the negative perspective of how religion causes so much harm, pain, suppression, oppression. Even though I prominently talk about the negative perspectives on my account because that's just what I personally feel called to do, that does not mean I don't think the two other perspectives to see it from, the two other ways of perceiving the situation, these two still exist. Like, there is so much positive and there's a neutrality to all of it, you know? The other day on live, I was talking about religion and how it's a tool. Let's conceptualize religion as a hammer. Some people use this hammer to bash people's heads in, to cause so much harm and destruction on other people for their own self-benefit. They will tear anything down, they'll murder people. But then there are other people who are religious and they use that hammer to build houses. They build things for people. They help others. They're generous. They're loving. They take all of the amazing things you can take from religion and they apply it to their lives and they help other people selflessly. Religion is so different based on person to person and how they utilize it in their life, but it's a tool. I talk about how a lot of times it's used as a destructive hammer for corruption and oppression and just ignorance. Like, it just bashes it into people's head. Ignorant, 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 be ignorant. So that's why I criticize religion so much, because I see the negative perspective and I choose to share it. That does not mean the positive doesn't exist, doesn't mean that you can't see it in some neutral sense in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think I'm hateful. I think I just criticize something that people hold very highly in their life. It's also easier to not really think about the negative aspects of what you put your faith and beliefs into, because if you just label any criticism as just hate, this person's being hateful, they're being deceitful, they're just trying to confuse everyone and lead them astray. It's so much easier to think that way. I think what makes me the most angry is that people tend to ignore the roots of religion and why it causes so much harm and why it's so destructive. You have the roots of a tree, right? And this tree grows into the most beautiful tree. It blossoms with fruit and homes for all the birds, but on the inside, it is completely rotten to the core. Rotten to the last inches of the roots. The best example for me to explain this and what I'm kind of talking about right now, Taliban just made it illegal for women to talk in public, to laugh in public. It is illegal for women in Taliban, these Afghan women, to get education past the 6th grade. It's illegal. And people call this extremist, right? It sucks whenever extremists ruin everything. Extremists suck. But you have to understand that's the roots of what you believe in. You're just being shown what it is without all the sugarcoating, without all the beautiful leaves and the fruit. The roots of Abrahamic religion are suppression, oppression, and hate. Most people don't want to get to the roots. They don't actually want to learn why something's going wrong or why something might be failing. They want to look at it in a surface level way. They want to go down the most shallow thought patterns, the easiest ways to think about things. They want to keep it short, sweet, shallow, and that's it. Simple. They don't want to get to the root of the problem if it means they have to change the way they think or the way they do things. But you have to think deeper and you have have to get to the roots of things, because a lot of things in our society are rotting and it's coming to the surface, guys. Taliban is just one example of roots just rotting to the point where they're at the surface now. There's no hiding, there's no sugarcoating, nothing. They've just done what they wanted to do. We need to understand that men are not objectively superior to women. So women have rights, they deserve to be educated, they deserve to have their lives, and they deserve to choose. Religion is not something you can use to brainwash people, to convince them that someone is more superior to the other and you have to respect that because that's my beliefs. No, that is not how it works. That's not the world we're going to continue to live in. That's how it's been for hundreds of centuries. Women have only had rights for how many hundreds of years? Not even. Passed by Congress June 4th, 1919 and ratified on August 18th, 1920. That's only a little bit more than 100 years. Like, do people not realize the roots of how things have always been run, and they're not going to be run like that anymore? Religion is a rotten fucking root. People don't look at history, they don't look at the roots, they want to think what they think is right and never learn anything new. Anyways, it's gonna take time. It took this much time for women to get rights. Religion's gonna take a hotter second, I understand that. So the original point of this video, because it's also getting extremely fucking hot, I don't feel myself to be a hateful person. I actually think I love a lot, and I love so much that these ideologies are pushed on people because they want other people to be oppressed so that they can reign. Whether it's governments, powers, white people, men, whoever the oppressor is, you can fill in the blanks. I love people enough to sacrifice my own personal peace to not shut the fuck up about this stuff. You think women 100 years ago stood up for their own rights and they were looked at by their peers as strong and brave? No, they weren't going with the status quo. Why aren't you shutting up about this stuff? You know, women have never had rights. Things have always been this way, so they're never going to change. You can keep your small mind. That's so great. You can think the most small-minded ways as you want, but I will spend my fucking lifetime making things better and educating about stupid shit like this. Everything in life is built off of our beliefs. Think about in the past, there was a solidified belief that white people were objectively supreme to black people. Men used to think that they were objectively superior to women. Men believed that women lived to serve them. You want to know how these things started to change? Black people having rights, women having rights. People started making them feel uncomfortable in their beliefs. They stopped respecting beliefs that had been pushed and pushed on people for thousands of years. In today's times, now we're fighting a new battle where we're trying to get gay people to have rights. You guys know how it's factually scientifically proven that mammalian species are homosexual? They present homosexual traits, scientifically proven with multiple studies, like it's a scientific fact, objectively true. Yeah, some people hold a belief that these people are sinful. There are people that believe they are objectively superior to these people. They get to choose what person they get to marry. They get to choose the kind of life that they get to have. They get to choose their expression of love because they hold a belief that they are superior to this person, and they have the right to choose what rights this person does or doesn't have. This has been changing over many, many years. Same how it did with men and women, same how it did with white and black people. Belief systems are evolving. And you know why? Because people are no longer respecting unrespectable beliefs. You know what's respectable? Spreading love and unconditional kindness and acceptance. You know what's respectable? Teaching people how powerful they are and how worthy they are and how much value they give into this world. You know what's a respectable belief? Is believing that people should have the right to their own body and to make their own moral decisions. You know what's a respectable belief? Is believing that we should fight injustice, no matter how much we become an outcast, no matter how weird it makes us look, no matter how loud it makes us seem, no matter how annoying and inseparable we're perceived by other people to be. You know what's not a respectable belief? Believing that some people are going to suffer after life for not believing in the same theology as you. Believing that some people are going to go to hell for loving a certain partner because they can't procreate with them, so it's inherently a sin. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you were just taught to think that it's bad, so now you hold the belief that it's bad. With no prior understanding of the world, it just is. You know what's not a respectable belief? Pushing your beliefs and religions on other people when it's a personal journey. It's a personal choice to indulge in that kind of lifestyle. The way you make change is you stop respecting unrespectable things. Respect is not given, it's not obligated, it's not just handed over with no inherent value. Respect is earned. Respect is given by the will of the person giving it. You don't get to just be respected in the way you live life just because you have the right to live your life that way. And I am so sorry if you truly want certain parts of your beliefs to be respected, but other people just aren't going to respect it. Maybe you need to look internally and ask yourself, why is this something that people are so adamant on not respecting?
respecting? Maybe because it's not fucking respectable. Stop respecting beliefs that are not respectable and respect beliefs that are respectable. If you have a belief that is actively causing harm to other people because you think you're superior to them in any way because of a belief that you hold, I don't know, maybe you think you're saved and everybody who's not saved is less than you, or they don't have a wristband to get into the club that you're getting into after you die. Some things are not respectable and you will not be respected for it. You will be disrespected. You know what? I've been trying so hard to convince people that I'm not being disrespectful, but honestly, I need to admit that I am. I am being disrespectful. I am showing you my discontentment for your beliefs. Disrespect is basically just showing someone a lack of admiration. I do not admire this belief. Therefore, I am not going to respect this belief, and I am actually going to use my voice to change the way the world sees this belief. Think about feminists in the past. Some people didn't want the feminist movement. They didn't want women to have rights. They probably took action to make sure that women never had rights. Same with black people. They probably took action to make sure that black people never had rights because they held a belief that they thought was objectively true, and they had the power to bring it into fruition and make sure that it never ever changed. If a specific belief you hold goes against science or objective fact, and the only reason you hold it is because you refuse to accurately educate yourself, if you're faced with an opposing opinion or an opposing fact to what you currently believe, and you immediately discard it because, oh, that must not be true because that goes against what I currently understand, and you don't even for a second consider it, educate yourself, please. Please learn how to admit when you're wrong, because do you think we're all right at all given times? Do you think everything we know at this moment is all we're ever gonna know? Do you think men liked when they were being disrespected for the way they thought about women? Do you think white people liked being disrespected for the beliefs that they held towards black people and other races? I choose to have faith in some things. And you know, if someone walked up to me being like, I think everything you think is silly and that's not true at all, I'd be like, you know what? You might be right. You might be right, girl. I can't prove to you what I believe is true. The only reason I believe it is because I know how it helps my life and it doesn't harm other people. My beliefs consist of everybody having rights, everybody being loved, everybody being cared for, everyone having their needs met. I don't believe in oppressing different people that you don't perceive should have rights. You're not going to be able to live comfortably with some beliefs. And I just needed to make this video to make sure you knew that. Even though this isn't really targeted at anybody, but the people who hold such hateful and ignorant and untrue beliefs. You're allowed to theorize about God. You're allowed to theorize about what faith is correct or whatever the fuck you want. What you're not allowed to theorize about is objective facts, homie. People and beliefs deserve to be respected until they're unrespectable, until they're so diabolical, so untrue, so ignorant that you have no choice but to actually just disrespect the person for holding that belief, because that's how you make change in this world. Men didn't like it whenever women were getting rights. White people didn't like whenever black people were getting rights. And now homophobic people who are religious are not happy about gay people getting rights. They are worried about people playing dress up more than they are worried about the children being murdered in schools by guns. I said what I said it the way I said it, and I mean every single word that I said. All I ask from you leaving this video is to please just question everything you think you know about yourself and the world and the beliefs that you hold, and to please just know that you are sexy and you are valid and you are so loved, and I will see you in the next video.
Hope you liked my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber?